What's happening, you guys? Welcome to Risky Ryan Trades. Today we are going to be doing our weekly recap. The market is at a moment of truth. Can we get more follow through, or is there more pain to come? This week is probably going to tell us the answer to that. This video will be jam-packed, full of information. I'm going to cover a lot of ground. I'm going to talk about key levels, macro. We're going to start off with, the overview, macro, kind of zoomed out, and then we're going to dial into the Mag 7. And then at the end, we are going to go over crypto, as well as some positions that I've added over the last week, and just positions in my portfolio that I think deserve some attention. So thank you for joining me. It would not hurt to grab a notebook and write down some key levels so that you can mark them on your charts. Your likes and comments are appreciated, of course. If you have any questions, I read all the comments. So feel free to leave those down below. And if there's a name, I do this every day. The weekly recaps are a little bit more in depth. But if there's a name that you want me to take a look at some point next week, I'd be happy to do so. Leave a comment below. Before we dive in, disclaimer, trading is risky. The content in this video is not financial advice. This is my opinion only. And, this is hopefully that you do get some value out of this video and you learn something. And if you do, once again, your likes are appreciated. So what I have here is the week-to-date performance of the S&P 500. And I think there are some interesting things to point out. Number one, Meta. Of all the Mag 7, Meta is crushing it. Had great earnings. Wall Street seems to love this stock right now. Another couple key names to point out to you are going to be Costco. Came to life this week, popped back up to 854. I thought we were maybe going to 783 or something like that. So good to see Costco come back to life. Eli Lilly crushed their earnings, and their chart is starting to look pretty good. And then you do have certain names that I have my eye on. Apple seems to be holding up. Yes, it was red, but considering all the fear, doubt, and uncertainty put out with this name, seems to be holding up pretty well. Taking a look at the ETFs, we had a green week on the semiconductors, and a mostly flat week for the SPY, Qs, technology. Red for crypto, which we'll get into at the end of this video. So kind of mixed, right? Kind of a mixed week. So let's dive into the S&P 500. I feel like, actually, wait, before we do that, I want to show you the state of the rotation trade. This is very interesting. So what you see here, the black is the S&P 500, the orange is the NASDAQ, the blue is the equal weighted S&P 500, and the purple is the Russell 2000. This goes back to the July 11th inflation print that showed that inflation, for all intents and purposes, was getting under control, and the market started pricing in almost a certainty of rate cuts in September. So since then, you can see the Russell outperformed, the equal weighted outperformed, and so on. However, we come to August 1st, let's zoom in over there, and there were some recession fears. After that happened, you have the equal weighted holding up, S&P next, NASDAQ next, and the Russell had gotten hit the hardest because the Russell is the most sensitive to the economy. Now, things are changing quickly. So this was our Monday morning scare where we had that big gap down. Since then, you can see the Russell is outperforming along with the NASDAQ. And then you have the S&P, and the equal weighted is actually underperforming the most. So for the last week or two, I've had my money in the equal weighted to kind of keep giving myself exposure to the stock market while also protecting myself from a little bit of volatility. However, what you'll see is that once we get here to August 8th, this was Thursday, the Qs are coming alive. Everything's flipped. Now you have the Qs are outperforming, S&P market cap weighted is outperforming, and then you have the Russell and the equal weighted kind of underperforming. I suspect this will continue into the week. I really do. This is only 2 days of data. However, the way that the week ended off and how the charts are looking to me, I think this is what we have going into the next week. So let's go into the S&P 500 and see where we are sitting. So this is a daily chart. We'll take a look at the weekly charts after this. So at the moment, you can see we've made our way back into the cloud, the Ichimoku cloud. We closed above this key level I've drawn here, 532. You can see that this was an important level. We closed above the Tenkan-sen, which is the Ichimoku moving average, this green one right here. We're back above the 200-day, back above the 10-day. And so the next level I'm seeing, and we are above this downtrend line I have drawn. So the next level that I'm looking at is going to be this level right here, 537, right around there. 537.50, we'll call it. And it does coincide with the Kijun-sen, which is 537.75. So, you know, a break of 538 with strength will put us en route to the 50-day moving average, which is going to be critical, as well as the top of the cloud. And for my weekly projection, I think this will be the top. I don't think we get much higher than this week if we do go higher. So these are the levels I have my eye on. So you got 537.50 and you've got 541 to 542. I think we bump our head there. You know, stocks, as we know, don't only go up. So I think if we have a strong week, we hit that, and then we may come back down to retest this 537 level. But the fact that we are, you know, we're popping right back into the cloud, that's great. This tells me that there's a really good chance that this was the bottom. Barring any geopolitical events that, you know, put us all on our head, which, yes, there are many of those landmines about us at the moment, things are looking pretty good. Okay, we did have our good rebound, and there's a few other things that have me bullish as well. We had our double tap of nearly a double tap of the oversold on the RSI, and we are at 45, which means that we are almost to the 50. Once we're over 50, that means that the relative strength is getting stronger. Also, a few more days of strength, and we are going to start to complete this MACD crossover. So these are good signs. Now let's take a look at the weekly. So we held support at the Kijun-sen, held support over the 50-week moving average. And on the weekly, yes, we have 537.78 and then 542. So these are the levels to watch on the S&P 500. Also, you know, we did have a bunch of green volume on the weekly. Some of this is a little skewed because of the crazy selling and everything that happened on Monday. One other thing to take a look at on this weekly chart, the last time that we had 3 reds and 1 green, take a look at this hammer. You would have freaked out, right? Like if this next week starts off and we just come all the way down and touch 520 again, you'll probably freak out. But look what happened. You know, we ended up closing and continuing. So yeah, I've moved to more bullish. There's also been a increase in institutional investment over the last week. They bought the dip, and institutions aren't going to pile into this dip just for it to go lower, I would imagine. They're a little smarter than us, right? Okay. Now, let's take a look at my GAN levels, because I think this is also something that's important. So we have made our way back into this Fibonacci channel, which we have been inside since the lows of October. We had a little bit of a scare, but we're back in the cloud. I think that's a good thing. So a key level that we need to hold and close over this week to remain in our Fib channel is really above the cloud, and that's going to land us right at about 522. So a dip below 520, if we break this candle right here, that would be very bad. 518, that would be very bad. 505 is what I have my, 505, 500, maybe there's a little bit of an undercut that happens if we do go down. However, if we get down here, we're going to be hurting, is what I would say, because then we're really well outside of this Fib channel, and this whole uptrend may be broken at that point. So this was crucial that we push back up. Okay, moving on to the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ, like we saw, has been acting a bit stronger. Going to the daily, you can see we did have a double tap here. We're also starting to curl over. We have not yet re-entered the cloud. The fact the S&P 500 got into the cloud tells me that the S&P or the NASDAQ probably will. That's what my gut is telling me here. And we did get back over the 10-day, and we did get over Tenkan-sen as well. Also, ooh, look at this. We popped our parabolic SAR. And notice, very rarely, usually we get at least a few days, minimum 4 days of remaining inside of that. So this usually indicates, okay, now we're in an uptrend. Now we've broken this downtrend, and now we've, hit a key level that we can push up from. So I do like that. Once again, these dots, they're called parabolic SAR. I like to use them as a stop loss, or at least give me an idea of where a stop loss would be wise, because if we were to hit this number right here, the chances of us going a little bit lower than that are pretty high, and you probably pick up shares less, Taking a look at the weekly, this was kind of interesting. So we closed right below the 50-week moving average. Close enough that you can't really say like, oh, we closed under, if you were to close this much over it, it wouldn't be that, wouldn't really give you much indication either. But the fact that we came back up and we closed higher than we closed last week, that's a good thing. It's a good sign. So what are some key levels to watch on the NASDAQ? I would say breaking the 200-day moving average, getting back above, 455. Getting above 455 would be key. We're going to have a lot of resistance between 462 and 466. I think there's going to be a little bit of a range that we have to bust through, but if we can bust through 465, then the next level up will be 478. Pushing through this 465 level, 466, closing a candle over there, it's going to be really important. And really just getting back into the cloud is going to be really important, because then you can flip the cloud to support. And you can see here, like, this 200-day moving average is a really critical line. So before we get ahead of ourselves, 455 and then 465. Those are going to be the most important levels in the week ahead. Now, let's take a look at the Mag 7. We're going to start with Meta because it has been the strongest. Meta has gotten out of the cloud on the daily. And it is almost getting the Ichimoku indicator proper. We need, you can see here on the daily, the Tenkan-sen is below the Kijun-sen. And in order to get the Chikou span, which is this red indicator right here, that needs to be above price, which it is right now, but in a couple days, it'll need to be over 543. So this is another kind of name to watch. If we see this pop over this level in the next couple days, that would be a bullish signal, I think, for the rest of the market. In the meantime, I think Meta is going to be our market leader. So we've had some crazy moves out of it. We had a really good earnings pop, a total collapse, along with the rest of the market, and then a full-on recovery just about. But yeah, we're going to need to see more strength and, pushing over this 542.81 level, 542.72, like right around there. That's a fib level that I've drawn. It's also like the most recent high. What's crazy is once we get above that, the next level it's going to want to go to is 823. And we're going to look at the weekly chart on this real quick. So the weekly Ichimoku is in play. Look at this candle. Wow. So yeah, a break of this level this week would break the parabolic SAR on the weekly. It would be a huge green light, that, a big buy signal if we were to break that. I don't know if I'd be entering a new long position in this at the moment. It is a little extended, but I do see a lot of strength in Meta, and that's definitely a name to watch for some big price movements. Tesla is another name that I have my eye on. We closed the week right at $200, which there's a huge buy and sell wall right there. So that was a critical level. Couldn't close over the 50-week moving average. We did pop the parabolic SAR, this week. And so it may take some time to get back above it. We also need to get over 225 roughly. Actually, this level has gotten a little bit less. Next week, we're talking like 215 to get over this downtrend line that has been in play for a long time. A very long time. So we did have this wedge that we were forming, between the uptrend and the downtrend, and now we're right back inside of it. So really with Tesla, I see like a MACD crossover that's like about to happen. This is a wait and see for me. I would like maybe at end of year, or if we can get back over here and show some support in like December. We'll have to wait and see on this one. We really have to get over this downtrend line, maybe break these highs to really confirm that we're over this wedge that's been forming. Just to take a look at the daily on this one real quick, we're in the cloud under all of the moving averages. So really we need to get above this downtrend line. We got to get above 218 on this name before I start getting interested on a daily time scale. Apple is another interesting one, has been holding up a lot stronger than what people might think. Wow, okay, so this name, I see a lot on here. I see a MACD crossover forming. The RSI is sitting at 49.1, so it's about to cross the 50 level. And we do have some key levels here, 216, we'll just call it 218. A strong push through 218, and you could say that we are now well inside of this channel. Also, notice the cloud is just going up really high. So we would have to break back into the cloud to stop this momentum. We're also within what I consider to be a buy zone. Like this whole move after the big GOG candle that we had this big consolidation period, and then we came back down into it. We're still within that range, that trading range. So, breaking 220, I think, is really going to be critical. But once we get above some of the, close a candle above the 50-day moving average, which sits at, call it 218, that's going to really tell us okay, Apple's safe. Apple is looking good. I really like the cloud. the way the cloud is formed here. So Apple's one of the stronger ones, in my opinion, of the Mag 7. NVIDIA is kind of in no man's land in a trading range. You know, very close to, all of these stocks are very close to popping this parabolic SAR. NVIDIA has the least amount to go. So it really just needs to get over 107 to pop it on the daily. But we have a lot of overhead resistance, don't we? We got the cloud sitting right there at 108. You know, this level right here, 110, 111 is pretty important. I really do think that we will go into a mild uptrend as we get closer to earnings, because it's NVIDIA. They always knock it out of the park, right? Right? Yeah, there's like a Blackwell delay, but I don't think the market's really going to care about that, because they know, you know, like prices are cheap right now, and this will be a $200 stock in a couple of years. So, yeah. So NVIDIA, like technically not a buy on the daily Ichimoku. Let's look at the weekly. Yeah, so higher lows, double top. 110 is really the one to watch. You know, if we can get like to 115 again, for instance, that would be confirmation to me that the worst is behind us, or at least it would give a lot greater likelihood of that being true. It looks like, you know, basically 100, 103, like these are really important levels to hold as we go into the future. We're gonna, even if we go sideways, we're gonna hit this cloud, and the cloud has been negative for some time. So NVIDIA, I wouldn't be rushing into it, especially before earnings, but it is an interesting name, and if you're a long-term investor, you know, it's not like a sell or anything like that, in my opinion. Microsoft has been just kind of treading water, holding steady. We're going to need to see a break of 408. And then I do have a GAN level drawn at 421, which actually, let's take a look at some of the GAN levels. I did just kind of gloss over that. So going to Meta, sorry, I'm kind of jumping all over the place. We've now retaken the ARC, and this 522 level is, you know, like a major GAN level that we'll want to retake. And we may see like a double top retest and then boom, but like I think we are comfortably within this fib channel, and we're going to be moving up with Meta. Tesla, real quick for this one. Yeah, we're bumping our head onto this GAN level. So getting over 212 again would help us get above the cloud, above the ARC, above this GAN angle. Like that's really important for us to do. However, if we fall out of the cloud, you know, I might become a buyer at like 172 for like a long-term, you know, I might actually become a long-term investor of Tesla if I can get a price down there. Apple, we're inside the ARC. We're over the cloud. Really, like, yeah, 225 is really what we want to break. 226, you know, let's get back up over that, and we might be off to the races up to, you know, 268. So I don't know if we're going to have catalysts like that to really propel us that quickly, but getting it back up over the ARC and this angle at 226 is kind of our target here. Microsoft, you know, fell under the GAN angle. We have, you know, kind of concerning daily, rejections off the GAN angle, but getting back up to 422, that's really the goal of you know, the next week. They didn't have the most impressive earnings, or at least Wall Street didn't seem to be too hot about it, but I think that this will get back above this GAN angle this week. That's, as long as the market can be strong, I think it should be able to reclaim this GAN angle. NVIDIA did reclaim its GAN angle, so that's another positive. And, you know, basically the 100 level, it needs to stay above 100. The GAN sits right around 103 though. So staying above this GAN level, closing more candles above it, that's really what is needed for this name. Google. Google has been like the unloved child. We did get back above the arc, but yeah, I mean, we're way below the cloud. We're way below like everything. Yeah, so I don't know. Google doesn't look very strong to me. And then finally, Amazon. Let's take a look at Amazon. Amazon closing above the GAN angle. Look at that. Retook the GAN angle. So I love this price action from Amazon. Just rejected the weekly cloud outright. It tapped this 151 GAN level. So, and then it closed above this GAN angle. So this is awesome. So that's really strong. And yeah, I mean, it's trying to stay in this fib channel, it looks like, as well. So really good market symmetry, you know, out of Amazon here. So now it's like, can it break this gap and close this gap, get back up to 177? I can't believe this name is down this low. You know, I've got a full position already built, so I can't really add more in my main portfolio, but you know, if I was underweight still, I mean, this is something I would be adding to. Okay, that concludes the Mag 7. I'm now going to go into crypto, and then at the end, I'm going to share with you some of these stocks that I find to be pretty good going into the next week. Also, if you've gone this far with me so far, most people don't have an attention span of 27 minutes, so I do appreciate you sticking along with me. If you're not a subscriber yet, maybe consider becoming one. I do analysis like this, try to do it every day. So I don't have 100 subscribers yet. You could be one of my first, which would be very special. So, and thank you to all of my current subscribers. You mean the world to me. All right, so let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's in the cloud, rejected off the GAN angle. So not out of the woods yet with Bitcoin. Not out of the woods yet. Really what we need to see is a break of 62,750-ish. 62.9. Like we need to get above that level to get back above the cloud and to reclaim this GAN angle, and then we would have nearby support again. Let's take a look at the weekly. So these big hammers can often be springboards. So we could see some continued strength, but really until we can get above some of these levels, it's going to be a little, you know, uncertain. And we really only have like 2 weeks to get, you know, above 64,000, get all of this correct. We do have a crossover of the Tenkan-sen and the Kijun-sen happening. We could turn that around after a week or two though. So a little inconclusive in Bitcoin at the moment. Ethereum, similar price action, but we are above the angle on this, and the angle sits right at a 2,400-ish. The next GAN level that we got to retake, basically we got to retake 3,000. That's the next level to retake. And taking a look at the daily, underneath everything except for Tenkan-sen. So also a little concerning, really low volume this week, so that's kind of something to keep your eye on. XRP has been showing strength. We had a big pop because of the SEC situation. I don't have a GAN on this one, but we do have a positive Ichimoku cloud, it looks like, forming. Yeah, we had a crossover right here. Chiku span is not yet overpriced, so and we got Tenkan-sen under Kijun-sen, so the Ichimoku's not perfect on this one. Let's take a look at the weekly. Kind of same story here. So XRP was looking pretty strong. It's still looking strong to me, in my opinion. This week is going to be an important week. It just is. If we get some good follow through, that could really set us up really, really well. Dogecoin. Who holds Doge? Who's got some Doge out there? I know a guy that's got a ton of Doge. So we're in the ARC. Did we really get down to like 8 cents this week? Goodness gracious. Okay, well, we rejected all of that. So really, we got to get back up above 13 cents. You know, then we can reclaim the GAN level and the GAN angle. So, you know, 13.5 cents is what you want to see before maybe adding, you know, like unless you're totally a dip buyer, going to hold it forever. But like, you know, if I were trading this, I would not be adding at this level. I'd be waiting to get back up over some of these key support levels. Solana is another one. Okay. It rejected off the GAN level at 162 this week, closed under moving averages, but it also, so we're really in a range between 120 and 162, which is kind of absurd. I mean, what kind of, we're talking about a 26% range that we're moving in. So yeah, Solana's a little scary. Looks like I need to make my GAN box a little bit bigger. We're almost getting to the end of it, huh? 51, wait a minute. This is all wrong. Unless it's, I drew this on the daily. Okay, this is a daily, so I should be looking at the daily. Yeah, so Solana is kind of like a, I don't know about this one. I wouldn't even really be touching this. Okay, now let's take a look at some stocks that have been having some strong price movement this week. AbbVie. Look at it. Just looking at it, that's a beautiful chart, right? We're over the Tenkinson. Everything's in order. We're in the ARC. Like, smooth sailing, right? Also, it's healthcare. It's defensive. So if we do have some like crazy volatility, it might be spared. Might. But I do like what I'm seeing, and you know, a good price target on this is like 206, which from here, this is like an 8% gain, and we could get it in a couple months. So I really like AbbVie going into the next week. We also, I mean, just taking a look, you know, we got close. We confirmed this angle. I mean, I really do think that we're gonna take a look, you know, we're gonna try to take this ARC. So I mean, this week alone, we could see a 3%, you know, jump just in a week. I could see that happening. Another name that's really strong, I don't know if you want to go chasing this one necessarily, but Eli Lilly had great earnings, and you know, this chart could get really parabolic. Just looking at the crazy price action, I mean, you know, it seems to want to just keep moving, getting up over this 920 again. And if we can do that, you guys, I mean, the next GAN level's 1150. From here, that's like a 29% gain. So it's already, you know, if you take a look at, you know, if you take a look at the year to date on Eli Lilly, we're up 52%. I mean, who knows? We could get 100% gain on this freaking thing. So, I mean, like Meta did it, NVDA did it, and we're seeing some like, you know, names like Costco, like names you wouldn't expect. So, Eli Lilly's kind of one to watch. That might be more of a trading sort of thing. I did. Thankfully, like, and if you guys, at the end of this video, you'll see my perfect portfolio video that I built. Eli Lilly is one of the names that had the smallest drawdowns with the highest gains over the last 10 years. And so I did pick up shares like in here in like the low 800s. So my position isn't fully built, but it is almost fully built. And until I see like maybe like a retest of the angle and then a break of the highs or something, you know, something that gives me a little bit more confidence where I can move up my cost basis a little bit more, I'm not yet in my full position, but I do have AppV, which is in the same, league of Eli Lilly. I have the rest of my position in AppV at the moment because that one's a little bit more slow and steady and consistent and sort of easier to predict. Like if a daily candle closes under Tenkinson, I'll just reduce and then maybe shift over there. Okay, another name that I added at the perfect right time right here. Luck. It was luck. Okay, guys. But I saw that it was going to close over Tenkinson, and then we were getting over the arc or the scan level, and now it's clearly going straight to, it's breakneck speed up to like the scan level. So we're trying to get to 8,400 with FICO. The chart on this thing, I just want to show you what this thing looks like. I'm going to do a monthly chart. So since the lows of 23, we're up 348% on this name. It is starting to go parabolic, like so many names have been. Another name like this is Progressive Insurance, starting to go, and just take a look right here. The last few months, we had consolidation, and at the moment, we could be on our next leg up. So Progressive's another name. MasterCard is like almost there. I added in my position probably a little too early because we did reject off this Gann angle that's at 461. However, we are above Tenkinson on the monthly. Let's just go to the daily chart. We just barely closed above Tenkinson. So, MasterCard, I feel like the pain has to be over soon, right, guys? Because since March, it's really just drew down. And then we had this big pop and then a recovery. So, like, this could be the a change of direction on the trend. And I'm kind of front running it. I have like half my position built in. And once I get some more confirmation, I'll start to DCA back into it. But yeah, so those are the names that I have my eyes on. If there's a name that you want me to check out, take a look at, leave a comment below. And if you have any thoughts, what are you looking at going to the next week? Go ahead, leave those comments below as well. I'd love to get a conversation going down there. So thank you so much. Trade smart, be lucky, and not too risky. And I'll catch you on the next one.